Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about Bong Joon-ho's brilliant Mickey 17. And we're going to talk about Expendables, a specific type of Dungeons and Dragons character. So we've already talked about the human. That's somebody who's never played Dungeons and Dragons. We've already talked about originals. That is the Dungeons and Dragons player. That is the Dragon Master. Okay. Then we talked about the Inception, the first player character made by an original, right? And now we're going to talk about Expendables, okay? So all of these terms are coming from Bong Joon-ho's brilliant Mickey 17. Now, Bong Joon-ho's brilliant movie, uh, Mickey 17, is it is a black light shining on Dungeons and Dragons and illuminates some truths about Dungeons and Dragons. And the reason it does that is Bong Joon-ho is a genius. He is a true artist, right? This isn't debatable. He has an Oscar, right, for the movie Parasite, which is brilliant. If you haven't seen Parasite, go watch it. By the way, before I go a step further, spoilers for Bong Joon-ho's uh, Mickey 17 here. Okay. But so and the reason it shines this black light on Dungeons and Dragons is it's about identity and self. And what are the facets of identity and self? That's what the entire film is about. And the reason so Bong Joon-ho is doing a true artist's exploration of um, a very much a true artist's exploration of identity and self, exactly the way Gary Gygax did that. So people thought, oh, Gary Gygax he's a game designer who likes to play games. He was not. He was a polymath who really wanted to explore the human state and fix human society, in my humble opinion. And that's what he did with Dungeons and Dragons. It is a human transformation engine. It is a secular human transformation engine. And that secular part is important because we had already had sacred human transformation engines, Christianity, for instance. And so I believe that Dungeons and Dragons functions for the secular world the way Christianity functions for the sacred world, right? Like this transformational moment where, I was born again. I was born again when I was 15 years old, right? And the reality is, yeah, I'm going to go there. Gary Gygax created this thing where this is why we're talking about Bong Joon-ho's movie. We have this character Naja. She's never reprinted. There's never a human printing of her. She's just by herself. She will never be more than she is. But in the film, Mickey becomes multiple selves. And he has periods where he's expendable, and he has periods where he's multiple. And he has an inception, right? He has Starport Mickey, that's the original. And he has Mickey 1, that's the inception. And he has Mickey 17, that's the last expendable. And he has Mickey 18, that's the multiple, okay? And today I want to talk about expendables. So what are expendables in Dungeons and Dragons? So my expendable, my most important expendable ever was Beryl the Turtle Wizard. An extremely important character to me. He had adventures in the Forgotten Realms. He was dungeon master by the best dungeon master I ever sat under. Learned a lot from him. And Beryl the Turtle Wizard is really an important character, but he was expendable. He died, right? And he's dead right now. Like he was he was never resurrected by the crew, right? In fact, one of my other player characters pursued his body to find it and never found it. Really wild, right? So it's very interesting, but also Kindwin, the Orc Cleric, right? That's another one of my expendables. You have expendables. Let's list them off, right? Saffron, right? The Plasmoid Rogue, or uh, Shalad, right? The Elf Fighter. These are expendables. These are traditional fantasy-based Dungeons and Dragons characters that are created on D&D Beyond, that are created with physical pen and paper, that are created, I would guess no less than 100 player characters are created every single day with Dungeons and Dragons across the world, maybe even 1,000 per day, right? And by the way, we know that literally millions of characters have been made on Dungeons and Dragons Beyond, and we also know millions of player characters have been made with a pen and paper, right? With a pen and pencil, right? Now, I do want to say, creating a player character, but it never hitting the table, that is just that is a piece of paper with some ink, with some graphite or some ink on it. That's not a player character. We're talking about player characters that the player has breathed life into them under even a single sentence of dungeon master direction. Right. That's a player character. And these are expendables. These are made to adventure. And they are also very much made to put their lives on the line. Dungeons and Dragons has three pillars: interaction, exploration, and combat, right? And combat has been removed out of some source books. Wild Beyond the Witchlight is famously capable of, you could go through it without ever raising a sword, right? But the vast majority of Dungeons and Dragons is those three pillars. And so these characters are expendable. They are made to die, right? Now, I appreciate your patience, because you're like, well, wait, is it just an expendable, just a regular Dungeons and Dragons character? Yes, that is correct, right? But the reason I took the time to do this video is next we're going to talk about multiples, and we needed to talk about expendables as traditional Dungeons and Dragons um, player characters before we got into multiples and the ramifications of multiples. Thank you for letting me share this with you. You guys are incredibly patient. I have extremely unusual content on my channel, and I appreciate every single view, every comment, and every share and every like. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Absolutely not a thing more, absolutely not a thing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.